Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre today robustly defended his administration's recent legislative actions aimed at easing the cost of living for St. Lucian households, emphasizing the critical distinction between a product's inherent "cost" and its market "price" amidst global inflationary pressures. The Prime Minister's remarks were made to the press outside Parliament prior to today's legislative session. Pierre responded to public and opposition inquiries regarding the effectiveness of measures such as the zero rating of VAT on 70 essential food items. He explained that while the government can influence the price consumers pay, its leverage over the fundamental costs of goods, particularly those influenced by international markets, is more limited.
We have made that point over and over again. I'm going to make it again. We do not control the cost. We control the price. Anyone who can tell me how to control the cost, I will take them in open arms. Look at the cost of thread. The businessman will tell you that thread costs have increased substantially from what it was 2 months ago. We don't control thread costs. What we control is the price.
The finance minister further detailed the government's approach, highlighting specific interventions designed to directly lower consumer prices.
Price of basic commodities, no service charge, no import duty, no VAT. Now the cost of other communities, we've removed the 12.5% VAT. And I've made the point that these goods will be 12.5% cheaper even if the cost goes up, because the consumer will pay no VAT for these products. So it's going to be 12.5% cheaper. So even when the cost goes up, at the end, the VAT, which we've removed, we've also removed the import duty from the goods that we got a derogation from CARICOM. These will be reflected in the price.
The Prime Minister expressed confidence that the recently enacted legislative changes, particularly the removal of VAT and import duties on designated items, would result in tangible financial relief for families.
We intend to see a decrease because the VAT on these items would not be there on all the zero-rated items. And I've outlined the items where there'll be no VAT, where we expect. And the point is, we're going to be monitoring it to ensure that the government's legislative agenda is carried on and the consumer benefits.
Prime Minister Pierre's comments underscore the economic vulnerabilities faced by many small island developing states. These nations, heavily reliant on imports, are particularly susceptible to, imported inflation, a phenomenon where rising costs of goods and services from international suppliers, driven by factors such as global commodity price surges or unfavorable exchange rates, directly inflate domestic prices. By reducing taxes on these crucial imported goods, the government aims to mitigate the impact of these external costs before they are passed on to the consumer. Gina Filippi, HTS News Force.